In case you missed it, Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 released last week, and it's filled to the brim with lore. I mean, just look at how many biblical references there are. But yes, as with any theory video, this one is bound to have spoilers, so make sure you've either made peace with being spoiled, or you've played the game yourself or watched someone else play it. Let's start off with Ollie. Ollie is the kid that acts as your guide throughout Chapter 3, taking you places you wouldn't know how to reach otherwise. Immediately, I had my speculations on how trustworthy this kid was going to be, but he pulled through eventually and didn't turn out to be another experiment pretending to be a kid. Also, just what is it with the popular horror games adding in a guide through some sort of communications device? FNAF Security Breach Ruin did it with a mimic pretending to be Gregory to lure Cassie, and now it looks like Poppy Playtime is doing it too. Is there some general trend I'm missing that needs to be included in the next Nightmare Enterprises game? Anyway, I really lost my trust in Ollie when he said this line.
That's how we can get to him.
But later on in the game, see that Poppy and Kissy both seem to trust him, so why shouldn't we? Well, similar to how the mimic pretended to be Gregory in Ruin, what if Ollie was not actually just this random kid, but rather the prototype? What if Ollie was actually the one orchestrating it all behind the scenes? The one who had fooled Poppy into gaining her trust, and then planned to use it against her when the time comes. We already know from one of the VHS tapes that the prototype has the ability to mimic voices.
I possess
A question. You stick us.
beat us.
Tear at flesh.
Do you feel it? Absolutely. I learn something new about you every day.
What if this is the same ploy being used here? For all we know, the prototype could have heard one of the kids' voices in Playcare and learned how to mimic it. Further proving this point is the final section of the game. There's a specific part of it where you have to go to the counselor's office to plug in the final generator. This section of the game is where Catnap is the most active, and at one point in the section, you get attacked by him, and no, you can't avoid it. The game then sends you through a whole dream sequence as a result of Catnap's sleeping gas, and when you wake up, the phone rings and you hear Catnap's voice.
Prototype. I was really lagging.
But Catnap shouldn't be able to speak, right? I mean, look at his mouth. It's fixed into place, similar to Kissy Missy's, or at least what we've seen of hers. This only further leads me to believe that Catnap wasn't the voice on that phone, but rather, it was Experiment 1006, the prototype, and it always has been. And the fact that sometime after this section we hear Ollie's voice on the phone again, proves that he was unharmed when Catnap got to him. There is more to the Ollie prototype theory, but I haven't got time to fit it all in this video, so maybe I'll make a short later on if this video does well. Another part of this game that I wanted to mention was the Hour of Joy. Even from a VHS stop motion perspective, this was absolutely terrifying. We see quite a few references to the Hour of Joy in Chapter 3, and not just the actual VHS of the event. One example of this is the Security Breach Alert VHS tape. See what I did there? Anyway, at the end of the alert, the voice cuts off to leave us with a screen reading, "Open the doors now, the hour of joy has arrived." The prototype has been planning this for the entire time. This was his end goal all along. Somehow, he managed to get almost every other experiment in the Playtime Co factory on his side to overthrow the workers. My guess is that he manipulated the TV screens to send a message to every other experiment in the factory. And, in case anyone actually forgot, we also got a reference to Experiment 1006 and the Hour of Joy all the way back in Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime. The one VHS tape at the end of the game, straight after you kill Huggy.
Final log. In relation, Experiment 1006, the prototype. Coordination and cooperation is evidently within his skill set, as well as the skill set of all other experiments of his type. Though still missing, today's events are no doubt in relation to him. His absence was a flaw in the scientific process, which should have under no circumstances been left unaccounted for. That's why I'm making this log, so that the same mistake won't be made twice. Any future experiments will need to be contained and disposed of in a secure location. I'm not worried about myself. one breakthrough and I'll be back. We must forge onwards in the name of science, whether those who are beneath us understand it or not. End of...
And my final point for today's video is on the death of Catnap. At this point, we all know that Catnap worships the prototype like a god, as shown by the shrine and multiple other biblical references hidden throughout the chapter. Even in the final cutscene featuring him, he bows down towards the prototype, whose hand is reaching out like the way God would from heaven, and the blinding light coming from where the prototype's hand is further proves this. Well, we all thought that Catnap wasn't the brightest bulb in the box to not see this coming. I mean, giant pointy fingers, wide open mouth. It's a perfect setup. But what if it isn't just a setup, but instead it was all a part of a very carefully staged plan? After seeing us, the player, kill off both Huggy Wuggy and Mummy Longlegs, the prototype knew that Catnap would most likely fail too. So instead of letting his body go to waste like Huggy's presumably did, what if he conspired with Catnap that he should sacrifice himself when the time came? That way, the prototype still gets to use his body for spare parts and whatever else he needs, although I can't think of what other extensions he would want if this is actually the prototype. That's going to be it for this video, although I do have to say that this video covers far from the entire game, and there's still important aspects left to cover, like chapter 4 possibly being the last chapter. So if you want to see another Poppy Playtime theory video, then be sure to leave it in the comments. And whilst you're down there, you may as well like and subscribe if you really enjoyed this video. For other theory videos like FNAF Help Wanted 2 or even the FNAF movie, you can click on one of the end cards on screen now. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.